Hi, I'm Sarah Starr. I run sarahstarcoaching.com. I help clients on a private and group level, just basically with healthy habit transformation. If you have been struggling to implement something and you don't have the skills, if you don't have the accountability, you don't have the steps, you don't know where to start, I show you how to channel all that energy into creating healthier outcomes. Every week, I release a short webinar and worksheet to help you learn how to start implementing these tactics into your life. In the video description, you'll find a link to the worksheet that goes along with this lesson. Print it out before and fill it out while we're talking, or fill it out afterwards. Either way though, put pen to paper with what you've learned so your brain takes you seriously. If you don't write it down, your brain's just going to filter it out like it filters out so many other things. You probably suspected this, but how we think about ourselves in the present and how we think about ourselves in the future is actually very different. And there's neuroscience behind this showing something very interesting. So some scientists took a group of studies and they did fMRI brain scans to see where brain activity was going on. They asked them to self-reflect, and a certain part of their brain lit up, as it always does in self-reflection. They asked them to think about a stranger, and a very separate part of their brain lit up thinking about a stranger. And then they asked them to think about themselves 5 years from now. And the interesting thing was, for most of them, the part of the brain that was thinking about the stranger lit up instead of the part that lit up with self-reflection. Only some of them had the same part of the brain light up when they thought about their present self and their future self. And then the scientists did more questions and studies and realized that the group who identified separately in their present and future self also was the group who had more problems with delayed gratification, more problem with impulse control, more problem with money spending. And the group that identified as both their self presently and in the future in the same part of their brain actually had better with delayed gratification. They were people who did better with long-term habit changes. And so today I want to talk about how we can close the gap, how you can start seeing yourself not just as the person you are today, but how you can see your future self also as you. And once you see your future self as you, that drastically changes how you're doing your habits daily. I went to a training one time and I was asked by the speaker to write down a list of who I was, what my identity was. And so I, at the time, had a massive identity. I had all these different things that defined who I was. I was a health coach, I was a mom, I was a writer, I was a sewer, I was a yogi, I was a reader, I was this, that, and the other, a big full list. And then the speaker said, how many things on that list have to do with things that you own, things that you do, or people that you know? And I went through my list and it was most of them. And then he challenged me to go through the list and one by one cross each thing off. And as I crossed it off, to ask myself, am I still me if I'm not that thing? And I went through the whole list and crossed everything out. And I was like, I guess I'm still me. But it was this huge moment where I realized my identity has nothing to do with these things. And even bigger, my identity sometimes was holding me back. Here's some hints that you might have conflicting identity that's holding you back. If you find yourself trying to change a habit, but you're hearing in your head words like, oh, I have to go to the gym. I really need to meal prep. Oh gosh, I really should not drink this beer, but oh, have to, need to, should. These are words that prove that even though we are doing something or setting a goal, our identity is resisting it. And so we can hack the system. Dave Blanchard leads the Ogmandino group, and I learned this training from him, and it was so powerful to me when I realized I can change my words, and changing my words is going to change my identity. Because when I tell myself these new words, I get to, I want to, I choose to, that tells my brain that this actually is my identity. Hey, I get to go to the gym today. I really want to run 5 extra minutes at the end of my workout to build up to that marathon. I choose to get to bed early so I have the energy in the morning to get up and run through my morning routine. So hack your words, and that's going to start to change your identity. Get really clear on the person you want to be. You can use the worksheet to flesh that out, and then prove it to yourself with small daily wins. The word identity is actually Latin for repeated beingness, and your actions are going to prove to your brain that you're actually serious. So start at the smallest level possible. If I want to be a marathon runner, my commitment to myself at the smallest possible level that I know I can do is running for 5 minutes a day. There's a treadmill at my gym. I can hop on it. I can run for 5 minutes. That repeated beingness of running every day is going to start tricking my brain into marathon running. And look out for it, guys, because I really do want to run this marathon. And I'm excited to move into that using all these tools and techniques that I've known about, but I haven't applied to this particular thing, but I will. So you want to pick the identity and then pick small daily things you can do to prove it to your brain. When we think about changing behaviors, there's three different layers. This is from Atomic Habits. The first layer is where most people operate. This is goal-based. This is a number on the scale. This is a certain type of relationship. This is amount of money in the bank. This is you want something and you're going to do what you need to do to get it. Now, the second layer of behavioral change goes a little deeper. This is process oriented. This is, yeah, I want to, get to a number on the scale, but I'm going to focus on just eating healthy every day. I want to focus on having good, healthy exercise. I want to focus on surrounding myself with lovely people who also have my same goals. This is a lot more sustainable, but the most sustainable level is identity based, because even if you have the processes down, if at your core you don't believe that you're capable of long-term change, then you're probably going to backslide. Your brain always wins. So identity-based change is the most consistent, long-term, and sustainable way to do this with the least amount of mental resistance. This truly comes down to what you believe. So ask yourself that question. What do you truly believe that you're capable of? As you move towards your healthy goals and start changing your identity to becoming the type of person who just lives these healthy habits naturally, you'll move away from problem-oriented motivation and into outcome-oriented motivation. If you're the type of person who likes eating healthy food, who likes getting up in the morning, of course you're going to stick to your nutritional plan. If you're the type of person who likes getting a good night's sleep and waking up feeling refreshed, of course you're not going to drink that extra bottle of alcohol late at night. So problem-oriented motivation is all about running away from something you don't like. It's all about dodging the pain. It's not about moving in any one particular direction. It's just getting away from the pain point. Versus outcome orientation, which is identity-based, and that is you have a clear picture of where you want to go. Think of the analogy of you're in the ocean and there's a shark chasing you. If you're problem-oriented, motivated, then you just start swimming. You just start swimming away from the shark. You don't really pay attention to where you're swimming, you're just swimming away. But if you're outcome oriented, you put your head above the water, you look around and you see a boat. It's 200 yards that way. You swim towards the boat. You get to the boat takes you to the shore. You run over the mountain. You're aligned with moving in a certain direction and you're really excited about it, and you probably don't get back in that same ocean anymore. So outcome oriented is a lot more focused. It's a lot more clear on what the steps are going to be. It's emphasizing what you want to do instead of what you don't want to do. And it feels a lot better in your heart. One of my very favorite mental coaches for all of this, her name is Linda Spangle, and she starts everyone out with this one question. Are you allowing yourself the possibility of change? And the challenge question is this: whatever you think you've been, whatever you've done in your past, however many donuts you've eaten, are you allowing yourself the possibility of change? Is there a chance that you could be someone different? Is there evidence in your past that you have changed? Look at yourself 5 years ago, 10 years ago. Are you that same person? Probably not. Do you think you really need to be the same person for the next month, week, year? You can probably change. And so when you find yourself stuck in this mindset of, oh, I'm not the kind of person who could do this, ask yourself this question, or say this phrase: I used to be that way, but now. And then fill in the blank. I used to be a binge eater, but now when it gets late at night and my cravings come up, I go to bed because I know sleep triggers my binging and I don't want to do that again. True story. I used to be someone with zero emotional control, but now when I feel anger issues start rising in my heart, I take a breath and I look at them and I ask myself, why am I feeling this way? And I ask myself what I can learn from this. And maybe it's a conversation, maybe it's something else, but I don't explode into yelling anymore because that makes the situation worse. So ask yourself this question: what's the habit that's been holding you back? And what's the new identity that you can put into place to move forward? I hope you found this webinar helpful. Go ahead, print out the worksheet, complete the lesson, and then share your comments. I'd love to hear what you've learned from this. If there's something that you really want to dig in more with, reach out to me. I love helping people with private coaching with this. My website is sarahstar with 2 R's coaching.com, and I'd love to hear from you.